Today answering the following question: is it really necessary to acoustically treat your room? What's the difference? How big is the difference? Is it worth it? Hey guys, welcome to the studio. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Sine. I'm a DJ, producer, and daily vlogger. I'm all done for today with the annoying business stuff, so I can finally concentrate back on the studio. As you know, I started rearranging almost everything in here. I just finished the absorber for the back wall, then the panels for the absorption. And some people asked me if it's really necessary, and some commented that there are people that do great music and mix great music without having any acoustic treatment in their studio. So in today's video I want to clarify that, give you my opinion if you need acoustic treatment, how much it actually does, how you can measure it, and everything that has to do with it. But first I need to continue reducing the chaos in here to actually being able to hear a difference. I think that's enough for the day. I found this guitar back. That might be actually the next giveaway. I don't really need it. I never move my guitars out of the studio. And then there is still the giveaway for my old sound card. You just have to become a Patreon within the next month. This right here is a quick unboxing. Another Spark. Don't ask why. And this keyboard is right now going out to Argentina. Travel really far and hopefully find a new nice home to be used for the next couple of years. I was also kindly asked to sign it. Permanent marker. Should work. Let's test it somewhere. Maybe first clean it a little. Dirty, but I mean it's like 16, 17 years old. It belonged to Gordon, then to me for 10 years. And now I'm really happy to share it with the young producer that doesn't have a keyboard. Ooh, gross. That should do it. Kind of weird to sign not with your own name, to sign with the artist's name, but anyways. I really hope it makes it there safe. Speaking of safe, I shouldn't probably use this huge ass knife. But it's just way too much fun. With a little bit of luck, this will arrive next week. Oh my god, this is by far the most expensive package I ever sent anywhere. Feel free and try to guess in the comments how much it actually was. I hope this person is treating this keyboard nice and trying to get a lot of money out of using it. Should maybe restrict the giveaways to only Europe. But anyways, let's talk about the room acoustic. A couple of days ago I explained you how to build these diffusers to get a better sound in your studio. I also showed you for the past half year how to sand and glue this diffuser. And a lot of people have been commenting that it's not necessary, that you don't need it. Somehow, to some extent and form, I have to agree. The room acoustic, it's important, it's underestimated, but it's not the most important. It's almost like a piece of equipment. So it's not about the equipment, as it never is. It's always about the person using it. And I'm just always saying, before you spend like more than 500 euros on your speakers, definitely put some money into your room, because otherwise you can't even hear what you're paying extra for your speakers. And I've been working in this room untreated years ago, and I have to say it is just a pleasure to work in a room that is treated. It makes everything so much easier, so much faster. Back then I was trying to figure out a mix for a song. I worked on it countless hours. I was guessing around if it's right. I listened to it on other speaker systems and it never translated really well. Never. It was like, okay, it sounds good in my studio. It doesn't sound good in the car. It doesn't sound good in the club. And there it sounds even better than in my studio. So it was always like just, my mixing didn't even make any sense. It was just guessing. And even some people commented, since treating the room, and I'm assuming they did it right, you have to definitely measure it with a measurement microphone at your sweet spot, compare it and see if the frequency response gets flatter. And in some rare cases this can be the case, because you're aiming for a flat frequency response to have like the average, because every room, every speaker, every other situation you will listen to this song, than in your studio where you made it, it will sound different. So let's say I make it here in my studio, it sounds all nice and clean and well balanced and mixed, and then I listen to it in a club. And that club, due to its room structure and the speakers, has like maybe at 100 hertz a gain of 5 dB. So everything in that frequency range is boosted by 5 dB, and it sounds too bassy and things start shaking. So then going back into my studio, if you have this flat frequency response, it doesn't make sense to change it, because in another club it could be the opposite and it's lowering everything by 5 dB. And if you have the room where you know how it sounds, you can be sure that that's like the safe and average way to do it. Let's imagine your studio gives you a boost of 5 dB in the bass, and you then listen to it in the club that also gives you the 5 dB boost. You will end up with 10, and you're way farther away from the average. So having this clean, nice, controlled studio environment definitely makes sure that it sounds better on most systems. Yes, you will run into situations where it doesn't work, where it doesn't sound good, but then it's not you or your studio or your acoustic treatment, it's just that specific room that just messes it up. And just to make clear, treating the room is by far the biggest money saver for me. Instead of mixing here for 2 or 3 days, which still sometimes happens, it's definitely shorter than back in the days where it wasn't treated. So investing in your room is the wisest thing you can do. Also, a lot of people ask me how much difference the diffuser is doing in the back, because I spend a lot of money and time building it. And it's not that it changes like the frequency response in your room. It's still the same. I measured it. There is not a big difference. It's very minimal, and the difference is probably due to me changing other things here in the room. But before I had the diffuser, the room had less reverb, especially in the mid and higher frequencies. This is now solved. The room sounds a little bigger. It also looks a little bigger, but it really sounds bigger. It sounds like the back wall is actually like 3 or 4 meters further behind. I got a better sense for dimension and where things are located in the mix. So I would definitely say it was worth it. It also just looks badass. I definitely do not regret, and I think you also will never ever regret spending time or money in the acoustics of your studio. It's very comparable with calibrating your monitor when you're a graphic designer, or having like a nice workbench when you do a lot of crafting or whatever. It just speeds up your process, will make everything smoother, faster, better, and you can concentrate on what's important, and that is being creative. No producer on this planet loves mixing for ages and never get a good mix. So by fixing the room, you will get closer to it. Definitely. I also got a huge tip for those people that don't have the money, the time, or the room to spend on improving it. There's like a sneaky way I will try and explain to you. But first up, I really can't wait. It's time to set up this drone, go outside for a little, and have some fun flying around. To say, flying this little fella over here is just so much fun. I really can't get enough of it. But let's get back to topic, like about the acoustic topic. I told you there's like a trick that you could use if you don't have the space, the room, or the money to build and acoustically treat your room. And this trick is simple. It's correcting it by software. There's a software by EQ Multimedia. It's called ARC2 or ARC 2.5. I will link it up down below. There's also another company, I think Sonarworks. They do the same for your room and also even for your headphones. I personally only used ARC2. I used it while I was living in Berlin. I just had a living room and I needed to correct the frequencies for that just half year, and I couldn't bring any acoustic treatment with me. It works in a very simple way. You just put the measurement microphone that is included in the package at your sweet spot. You measure whatever the speakers is outputting. It's like a test signal. Then this is being compared in the software with the internal sound, and this way the software knows what your room is actually making to the sound. And it's just applying the opposite of it to the signal that is exiting your speakers. So it's kind of a trick. It doesn't get close. It isn't 100% the same as having an acoustically treated room, but for the price, It's the best you can ever do with your room. I know a lot of people that use it. It sounds a little bit awkward, but I think it's still better with it than without. It's somehow magic. It's somehow not. You just have to get it, try it out. I will definitely link it down below. And even in treated rooms, it can fix the low end, which is really hard to correct with acoustic treatment. To this kind of system, there are of course also some downsides. Number one, it's not fixing your reverb time in your room, so you still might have a strange mix and can't really decide if you need more reverb on your elements or not, because it's really just fixing the frequency response, and it's just fixing it at your sweet spot. It might actually make the sound even worse outside of that sweet spot. And if you don't believe me, just maybe try to ask a friend that has a treated studio, or maybe in your city there is one. Try to book it for a day and mix your songs in there. It might take a while to get used to it because it's a different sound than you're used to, but I can assure you, you will hear things you've never heard before. And that's definitely what makes the difference. A room can improve your mix by like 10-15%, which is huge, especially when you do it already for a couple of years. Getting that amount of percentage out of your mix just by treating in your room is immense. That's already it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, let me know them down below in the comments. Come on, Sparky. I will try to answer them, or maybe someone else has a good answer for you. Like and like and subscribe. We will see us tomorrow again back here in the studio working on music. I now unfortunately have already to end the video. Vanessa's a little bit sick. She needs someone taking care of her. I hope I don't get sick. I just hate being sick. It's like the worst ever when you're self-employed. You can't work, you lose money, you lose time. Bleh.